It is the midnight hour, March 22nd, 2026. This is a look at the Dow 30, which I think is my finest work each week, frankly. I know most people don't care, but I really do think this is where it gets good. It really does. So let's start with Apple. Apple is down for the third month of four, currently down 6.1%. Oh yeah, and by the way, I should keep in mind we have 7 trading days left of March, so we're not that far off from seeing the monthly settle. Just scroll down for the momentum. Look at this. Look at this. What do you think's going to happen in April, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, seriously, this is going down. It's going down. It's going to break. You're going to get a monthly sell signal on Apple either before the month or no later than April the 1st. It's going to happen. So then it's like, okay, well, what's the target? I mean, 200 isn't a stretch. I mean, yeah, actually, yeah, $200. Whether that's April or maybe early May, I don't know, but 200, which is roughly 20 odd percent down. Bearish. AMGN, new historic high, but even a top tier healthcare company is now down 10.4% for the month. Soft soft target is the 10 of May, 316. Momentum has started to roll over. Bearish. Amazon, king of retail, the fourth month lower of 5, down 2.2%, holding up kind of relatively well, but it's broken. You see, look at that, it's broken. February candles bearish engulfing. Momentum's increasingly negative. Bearish. American Express, which I've been droning on about for a week or two now. Third month lower. Look at it. It's basically down in line with the S&P roughly. Um, Momentum's increasingly negative. Bearish. Where's the support? I guess you could say, there's a bit of support here, but lower Bollinger will soon be around 240. So, yeah, just a moment. All right, moving on. Boeing. Look at this. Look at this. 14% down on a month. Jeez. Momentum. Prone to turning negative as of April the 1st. Uh, you could argue anything from around 140 to the April low of 128. But yeah, that's a big drop. It's the biggest drop we've had since January of 24. Caterpillar. We had a exhaustion spike in February, 789. It won't take much to turn this bearish to turn this candle to like bearish engulfing. Just need to go a little bit under that. So like 650. It's doable. Well, I guess it's $30 down, but we're down almost $62 so far. We could do another 30. And then soft target is the 10 of May, 550. Momentum was rolled over. Bearish cat. Salesforce actually up 0.3% on the month. Kind of spurious gain. I kind of just write that off as spurious. Momentum remains negative. There's no sign of a floor. The more 140, 124 looks pretty easy. Cisco, one of the strongest stocks out there, but we have a look at this February candle, spiky, bullish exhaustion. We're down 2%. If we take out the 10 of May 73s, then we're probably looking at least 65. Yeah. Momentum's weakening, prone to turning negative in either, well, May. I guess it could drag out into June, but yeah, it's not going to happen in April. That would be unusual. Probably May. Yeah, probably May. Bearish Cisco. Chevron. New historic high up 8% because of oil. Uh, absolutely bullish. Disney down 6%. In fact, that is the 8th month lower of 9. So aside from the little positive ramp in December, 8 months down of 9. Not bullish, huh? 99, lower Bollinger is 88. Momentum has turned negative. Bearish the mouse. On a positive note, Eiger and KK have both gone. Goldman Sachs, the squid. February's candle was bearish engulfing. We are tentatively breaking the 10 MA, lower of the main market. You got to think, what are we going to come down to? At least 655, right? Minimum. Momentum is weakening. Momentum will turn negative possibly in April, but certainly by May 1st. But yeah, it's definitely, it's done. We're done. We're done. Going down. Home Depot. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. 15.2% down. We've broken below the November low. Next support is the April low, 318. That's clearly, actually, that could easily be taken out on Monday. But yeah, under that, what are we really looking at here? 250, $70 down, 22 to 23%. Yep. Momentum is increasingly negative, having stalled here again. Honeywell. Okay, this was one of the strongest stocks. We did have a new historic high, but we have a bearish engulfing candle. This is what I'm talking about. I've been talking about this for a few days now. Even the really boring stocks, the defensive stocks, they're breaking down. So this printed a new historic high earlier this month, but it's had a full reversal, down 9%. Absolutely bearish. Momentum has rolled over, might turn negative in April. If not, then May. Are you gonna think, well, soft target 185? That's $34 down. 36. Yeah. 36 on 221 is about what? 14%. Bearish Honeywell. IBM. Okay, you can see they try to bounce it, but the sellers come in. Spiky candle, bearish. Big target, lower Bollinger, 182. Momentum turned negative in February. Increasingly bearish, very bearish into April, May. Yeah. J&J, another one of the really big, boring defensive companies. New historic high, reversing down 5.25%. Momentum is starting to level out. Bearish. Soft target is a 10 MA, 197. JP Morgan, third month low. Look at the bearish engulfing candle in January. Look at the spikes. They're selling into the bounces. We're now decisively and sustainably under the 10 MA, down 4.5%. Momentum has turned negative and will be increasingly negative into April. Absolutely bearish. The more aggressive will be looking to challenge the April low from last year, 199. That's a long way down. Bearish the financials. Coca-Cola. Again, another one of the big boring stocks that nobody cares about. We were at a full downside reversal, down 7.7%. Momentum's rolled over. Bearish Coca-Cola. McDonald's. Another one. I think that's a new historic high, right? Must be. Yeah, 40 cents. Of course it is. So, new historic high, bearish engulfing candle. In fact, that's the ugliest monthly candle since March of 2020. Wow. So we're clearly going to take out the 10 of May. Soft target is the 50 MA, currently 270. Again, this reminds me of Microsoft. By the way, yeah, momentum is about to turn negative as of April the 1st. But yeah, this reminds me of Microsoft in terms of the 50-month average. We didn't take it out in actually, there's the April low from last year, 283. Surprisingly strong. Look at it. We held it there in July of 24. It's just well above it there. The COVID hysteria. We did break it, but we spiked right back above it. Look at it. We did it again there. Look at that. If we get a monthly close, no, it's not going to happen this month, but if April closes under 271, that would be a really big sell signal. No, most of you don't care. I get it, but it is what it is. It would be a monstrous sell signal. And yeah, I'm asking myself the question, okay, what if we did break it? What would be the target? I mean, minimum target would be, in my view, 212 from September 22, which is almost 30% down. But yeah, bearish McDonald's. 3M. Now, this is another stock that nobody cares about, but you can even see that in February, near historic high, but they sold into it. And now we're down 14% for the month. And nobody cares, but they should. We're under the key price threshold. Soft target 120, which gets you back to the April low. Momentum has turned negative. It's been weakening for over a year and a half. And finally, and again, it's clearly got to go negative into April, more so. Bearish 3M. Merck, another one that people don't care about, but even this one that's had a massive run, down 7% on the month. Basic target is a 10 MA 95s. Momentum not rolling over yet, but it's going to roll over in April. Bearish Merck. Microsoft. Oh, this is the big one. I saw a post earlier from one of my followers, and it's like, yep. Again, here we go. Look at this. Look at this little green line. The 50-month average, 365. Again, firstly, I should say Microsoft down for the 7th month of 8. Midterm horror from 552, currently 381. If we go under it could have happened this one. We could settle March under 365. If we do, my target will be the November 2022 low of 207. And yeah, that's almost, it's not 50% down. It's about what, 45, 44 maybe. But yeah, if that little green line goes, and I'm guessing it will go, it's almost impossible not to see it going, considering the market is S&P 6500, and my target is 5500, 1,000 points down. There's no way it can hold that. So I think there's a chance that we get a really big whoosh out to around 200 or so. And yeah, momentum is just negative, turned negative in January. Zero sign of a floor. This little black line could tick down all the way into the autumn, right? This is what it did here back in 2022. Bearish cross. You see little tiny attempts to rally, but it didn't really floor until November. Absolutely bearish Microsoft. I think Certainly, when it loses 365s, it will merit major alarm bells. And I have extremely high confidence it will take that out. If I'm right, then a lot of other things become quite straightforwards. Moving on. Nike. Ooh, that was painful. 15% down. Again, break of support. 52s. We're going to take out the April 51s. Let's change the time frame. Yeah, next support, RV, I guess 45s from uh November of 2017. So 45 looks pretty easy. Yeah. I think the stock charts computer has a P and F target of 42. So I could see that. You see 39s. But yeah, this is that's horrible. Bearish Nike. And of course, actually look, momentum, before I forget, momentum has turned negative for the first time since last summer. Moving on. NVDA. Oh my God. So the third month lower of 5. You see the seller. Look at the sellers. The spiky candle. Sellers coming in. Sellers coming in. 172, one of the 200-day, one of the 10 MA. Soft target is 150. I mean, under that, right now there's nothing really until 100. Oh yeah, and look at this little thing. Momentum has turned negative. We have a sell signal, which is clearly going to carry through into April. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, 150 is basic target. I guess you could argue there's a little bit of support around 140, but if I'm right about S&P 5500 or so, we could be looking at $100 for this. Not, I don't expect it in April. I kind of think I lean more to May, but bearish. It's broken. Old Nvidia's broken. Moving on. Procter and Gamble, again, another one of these companies that nobody cares about, but you should. Even this boring company is now down 13.7%. Look at that close on Friday. Horrible. There's nothing good there. Momentum is stalled from going up. Bearish. And yeah, you can think that low is not going to hold. And bye bye 136s. Big support around 111. Printed it in October of 22. 111 is 33 down. 33 and 144 is approximately, I don't know, 27%. That would get you S&P 5500 or so. Bearish, PG. Sherwin-Williams, chemicals, paint. Another really boring company people don't care about, but you should. Down 15, was it 16%? Horrible. Break of the 10 MA. Next support is just around 277. I don't think that's going to hold. So you think, okay, what's the next low? I mean, what are we looking at here? I mean, you got 189s from October 22. That's like 30, 36, 37% down. Momentum is stalled, ticking back lower again. Bearish. Travelers, near historic high, but even this company is now leaning back down 3.5%. Momentum is prone to turning negative in April. United Health, down 5%. You can see, look at this. They tried to rally it, and they stalled at the 10 MA, cooled back, rallied, failed to hold and for 200 10 MA. Bearish engulfing candle, by the way. It was a vein hammer candle, but failed. Bearish with the main market. You got to think we're going to come down to at least 229, challenge that low again. And Visa, I mean, Visa was one of it was a stock that maxed out in June of last year. We had a bearish engulfing candle in January, and it's not looking good. 301 soft target is around 250, 249. Yeah, that looks pretty easy. That's call it $50, 15% to go. Momentum's on the low end, but we're clearly going to tick weaker into April, May. Verizon, new historic high 51.67, but again, even this one is stalling, and I can see cooling to at least the 44, 43s. I would imagine the really cautious, they'll just be selling. They'll just be getting out of this. Momentum's not showing any sign of a turn yet. And finally, Walmart. Yeah, look, even big old boring Walmart is rolled over. February candle spiky as the sellers came in. We're down 6.8% for the month. Soft target 10 MA 108s, $11 down. That's the easy money. In fact, again, we haven't. This is kind of it. Yeah, this is important. We haven't seen a monthly close under the 10 MA since what's that? September of 2022. So that's 3.5 years ago. Yeah. I can't see how 108's got a hold. In which case, if it doesn't, then we can start to think about 79s, which is $40 down. $40 of 119 is, that's pretty easy math, right? 33%. That would give you S&P 5,500, maybe 5,000 briefly. Knock off so we're going to end today with the Dow though, because we should do that, right? After all, it's about all those Dow components. Let's have a look. So on, just go through Friday first. Yeah, look, new multi-month low. This is the Friday was the third daily close under the 200 day. And yeah, we're oversold, right? But that could remain the case for a month. So we're already at 45K. We're roughly what? 5,000 points down. So we're 10% down from the mid-February high. Nothing crashy, and it's just consistent cooling. But that break under the, you can see that, you can actually see there, look at that. We had two bounces. There's the first bounce off for 200 day, failed. There was a second bounce. Also, what's that there? That's a black candle, by the way, on Tuesday. Tuesday black candle, down we go. And clearly this threshold, this 45K threshold, it is not going to hold. We might bounce off it Monday, Tuesday. It doesn't matter. But broadly, we're going way down. Let's get some perspective. Weekly chart. We're down for the 5th week of 6. And yeah, we can start thinking about, okay, what's another 20% down? 9,000 points. That'd get you to 30, 36, 37. Oh, looky. Yeah, I guess it's back to the April low from last year, the Trump tariff low. And yeah, on here, look at this. That's interesting. The 200 MA, but that's a weekly. It held in October of 23. It held in April of this year. If we were to go under 38,000, that's a problem. That's a really big problem. Of course, first things first, got to come down to it. But it looks probable. Again, looking back at the 2025 pattern, maybe we have an up week next week, maybe, or maybe the following week. Maybe we're down a lot next week, and then have a little bounce, and then get smashed early mid-April. mid-April. But yeah, in theory, 40,000, 38, 39, and some perspective on the monthly chart. So with 7 trading days left of March to go, Dow's down 3,400 points, 6.9%. We're under the 10 MA. Volume's been pretty elevated, and we still got. We're probably going to take out that volume high. And yeah, look at this. Okay, so we don't, unlike the S&P, momentum's not negative quite yet, but that could change on Monday. But clearly, it's going to be sustainably negative as of April the 1st. And again, look at the 50-month average, which held in April. And even here, right, we did have a monthly close under it, but then we kind of floored from 28, 29K threshold. Anyway, what chart shall I end on? I think that'll do. What's the most important chart of a Dow? I don't know. Trying to think. No, we'll end it there. I think there's some interesting things in there. I think the standout issues are even the big, boring stocks that nobody cares about. A fair number of those are now down 10 to 15%. The Dow's broken. The main market itself is broken. There's no doubt about this. I mean, look, this is similar to last year, right? I mean, maybe we bounced a little bit for into the end of the month, but look, what's the April candle going to be? 40K? That's 10% down. So people getting riled up already at 6.9% down. I guess you could say 10% from February, but we're only halfway just to get down to testing these kind of thresholds. So we have in theory we have a pretty straightforward 10% down into April. Anyway, we'll end on that note. I wish you a good weekend. Be good.